Alright, say we had a really big number like 28 million. Well, it's a huge number, and every time I wanted to write 28 million, that takes 5 seconds at least to write that 28 million. Actually, you can time it on YouTube, find out exactly how long it took, and if it took shorter than that, well, okay, whatever. But seriously, like, it takes a long time to write all that. What if it was like 28 billion, 28 trillion, 28 quadrillion? It goes on and on. So basically, we need to have a simpler way to write numbers. So here's what we do: is we shorten this to the first decimal point, 2, and then the 8, and then the 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, however many zeros, times 10 to the how many places that we cut off it was. So this would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Alright, so it is 10 to the 14th. And there we have it. Now, what if it was, actually I'll make this one to the 13th, since now it matches up with this one. And we can just erase all of these. And now we have 2.8 times 10 to the 13th. We can just erase this. And it's the same thing. It's a lot simpler to write this than it is to write that. And basically, when we multiply times 10 to the 13th, we're basically multiplying by 10 times 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 10. Alright, so that's what you're multiplying it by. So it's all of these zeros is 10 times 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 10. 2.8 times that. Because you know how 2.8 times 110 is 228. It just moves the decimal point 1 over. Every time you multiply by 10, it moves it over 1 more. And then 1 more. And then 1 more. And then 1 more. It goes on and on. And so every time you multiply by 10, you move 1 over. So the way to represent repeated multiplication is exponents. So this is the number of times you multiply it by 10 to get the actual number. Or the actual number here. So basically, that's all fine and dandy. But what if it was 10 to the negative 13th? Well, that becomes a problem, my friend, because instead of moving this 2.8 to the right, you move it to the left. When it's negative 13, so it's 1, 0, 2, 0. Actually, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 13. I think that's right. And so that's the way you can count to make sure that it's basically scientific notation. This is scientific notations. This is, I believe it's called standard notation, but I'm not sure. It could be standard notation, could be, but this is scientific notation. So, yeah, that is pretty cool. And next thing we're going to do is we're going to learn how to basically, let me turn the page, make sure I'm on the right place, convert from this to that. So basically what we want to do is we want to count. Let's just pretend we didn't see this. And let's add like a few zeros. Add like a few zeros, or like get rid of a few zeros for good measure. Okay, so we got add a 5 here. Alright, so basically what we got to do is we got to move over 1 each one, and we got to count. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Where do we stop? Well, actually, we stop right here. So you want to know where we stop, because you stop at the highest place. Between the highest place and the second highest place is actually a number besides 0. So yeah. Anyway, so maybe what if it was like 2? That's a good question. What if it was 2.05 instead of 2.85? Well, you just move it over here and then stop here. Just right after the highest number is where you stop. So yeah, so basically it ends up being oops, 2.5. And oh great, I forgot how to count. I didn't count. This is really tough. Trust me, this is really tough stuff, so you gotta know how to do it, unlike me. Okay, 4, 5, 6, 6. Okay, so it's times 10 to the 6. Times 10 to the negative 6, because the actual thing is actually far out. And so basically, like, you may not know whether or not to put like 10 to the negative 6 or 10 to the 6, but that just takes time to get used to and figure out. I don't really have a way to explain it. Maybe some of you do, so if you do, let me know in the comments below. And yeah, well anyway, what we got to do is we got to now try it out with 205 times 10 to the something. So what about this? It's like a huge amount. This is the actual number. This is standard notation. We want to get it to scientific notation where it's being in times 10 to the something. Okay, well, here's what we're going to do is we're going to count this way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so it's times 10 to the 9th, and what it is it's 2.05 times 10 to the 9th. Okay, hope this helps, and if not, then I'm sorry. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and hopefully you learned something from it too. And anyway, I'm going to go on to my next video now, so peace. Love you guys.